Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. As always, today, well not as always, today is Wednesday, March 27th. This is the second recording of the day and it's not going well, frankly. We need to get 3 rogue or warrior victories and I think I'm pretty much screwed on Tavern Brawls. I may not even bother to try to do them on the European account, rather. It, on the face of it, doesn't seem like it would be that hard of a deck to play. You just need to make a deck using Journey of Unguru, Knights, Frozen Throne, and Kobolds of Catacombs cards. That being said, when I have it build the standard build a deck for me, it's not doing a great job with it, and so I've spent an hour and a half trying to win, and I think what I'll probably do is just go for the easy victories by starting a game and just seeing if people get bored and concede, instead of plowing through with me not playing at all. That's easy because it requires less effort. It's not easy because it really requires less time. Meanwhile, which of these at rank 12 should I play? Or should I not play any and just play on casual? I think I need to play on casual even if I could win with Rogue or Warrior at rank 12 and not get my rank knocked down. Since we're on the Americas account and this is the second episode, we need to get off of the Americas account. We need to move over to the European account. We need to get to this. I really don't want to make a third episode. Particularly, I don't want to be forced into making a third episode because I can't get the victories I need to get to get just the daily quest done. Meanwhile, while we do have a decent number of bits of news, it's not like this Wednesday is overflowing with news, and it would be alright if there was a little bit of news left over for Friday, although ideally I would like Fridays to be the shortest of the 3 days to stream because nobody's ever watching anything on Fridays, typically speaking. I could kill that right now with that, but I don't see a reason to. Actually, I am not 100% sure what this is supposed to do.
Reporting for duty.
This is all about the legendary Malygos. So each of these, you kind of want to just save.
Justice is mine.
So until I can get Malygos on the field several times and do a one-turn kill with all of these spells, it's kind of nothing I want to do. Gamatsu has an article over here. Puzzle adventure game player list 1-button adventure announced for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and smartphones, due out in Q2 of 2019. It's got a little trailer here. Player list is an interesting name. Summon a 1/1 boost with poisonous.
Justice
and it is smart to get rid of these 1-mana characters. A 1-button adventure might be a bit of a boring game, frankly. There are Space Ace and what is it called? Space Quest? No. There's a couple of Laserdisc games that are famous for having only 1 button and a control stick. I would like to own and cover those games, but I also would fully admit that covering Space Ace and the Laserdisc games would probably boil down to just me playing the game in the sense of having it play all the videos
Justice is
through
mine.
because it's such a difficult game, and the remastered version really didn't go to address that at all. From what I've seen other people play it, is that you still are getting an incredibly difficult experience where you have to hit the button
Your magic
probably a few milliseconds before you'd even register that the button needs to be pressed. This game, Playerless, it looks kind of like a programming lemmings game, as best I can understand it. I'm not seeing anything super appealing about it. Let's do that.
Justice is
Get rid of
mine.
Yeah, I don't. That was kind of an anti-hype article because of just how boring it looked. Alright. Return that to your hand, see what that does. Draw a couple cards. These are good cards to play, but they are not what I'm looking for. GameIndustry.biz has an article. GameStop partners with 3 esports organizations. Games retailer signs a deal with the Houston Outlaws, Envy Gaming, and Optic Gaming. I wouldn't be surprised if this is these are 3 Texas-based esports organizations. I wouldn't be surprised if there's the same parent company owns all of them. But I also wouldn't be surprised if this just means GameStop will be selling their hats and their logoed products. Which, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like, why not sell that kind of stuff? It is certainly heavily speculative to say that esports is going to be the new NFL in the United States, and people are going to want to buy hats and scarves and just, you know, souvenir garbage from esports players. If anything, if it's a Hearthstone, for example, esports team, I imagine you'd want the Hearthstone logo stuff, not the
Can hold me.
Alright. I'm just gonna... I hope I have enough cards here for all of this. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I have enough room for one card more to draw, but then I'm gonna need to make some room. If I burn Malygos in this next move, that would be insane. That'd be the worst case scenario. Burn Malygos. That'd be like, might as well give up. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article, Where the Bees Make Honey Review, Terror and Madness. I have not heard of this game. Here's the logo. This is a real game, not a board game. Well, not that board games aren't real games, but it's a video game. I have not seen anything about this game. And I've basically seen everything. Maybe at this point I just kind of forget. And maybe I have seen something about this. Looks like it's a puzzle game of something. Let's see. Oh wow. The review is 1.0 awful. They were given a copy from the publisher. The summary is, Where the Bees Makes Honey tries to convey the message through nostalgic childhood memories unresponsive controls and a plethora of technical issues undermine everything. There might be something to the puzzles, but they're weak and extremely buggy. The game is physically painful in its current state. Pros: interesting puzzle ideas. Deal 1 damage, draw a card. There we go. So we've got Malagos, but we kind of need to get rid of that. I could have played that instead.
Justice
I can hit
is
that.
mine. I already attacked.
I can hit this, and this, and this. Oh, forget it. Let's just win. I didn't even need Malagos. I was doing all this setup for Malagos and it didn't matter. Yeah, the pros are interesting puzzle ideas and a decent message. The cons are it's buggier than a beehive, awful camera, no menu options, poor level design, irritating puzzles, and inconsistent art style. And yes, this game is on Steam, and I totally have not heard of it. It's $9.99. It came out yesterday, and so maybe it is a game that we will look at as one of the games that came out. Wakefield Interactive. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything else they've made is of any interest anyways, although in all fairness their newest game looks a lot better than their older games. So maybe 2 more games, or maybe if they put a lot of effort into their next game it will actually be good. You don't need this. You don't really need that. So yeah, I haven't been following, I guess, my Twitter feed as well as I should, because that game should have shown up and it didn't. Who knows what percentage of games actually I miss on a daily basis. It doesn't feel like a lot. We certainly see a lot of games. We're getting a much better impression of games that are coming out than if you were to just follow like Giant Bomb or any other mainstream video game journalist site, where the Giant Bomb in particular has gotten less and less talking about games, where they'll talk about 3 of the biggest games of course everybody has heard about, and that is it. And if it's a slow week, maybe they'll look on Steam and find some random game. Moving on, we have a game on Steam, 1 vs 1 Battle Royale for the Throne. This looks more like a Zelda game than a Battle Royale game. Looks like it's just an RPG Maker clone though. A black bars on the side again, 59 cents discounted. Yep. No interest in that. Excuse me. Let's see. Komatsu has an article. 16. Where's my mouse? Man, I need my mouse to contrast more on these white backgrounds. 16-bit party fighting game Super Slime Arena is coming to Switch. It's probably only to Japan though. It first launched on Steam in January of 2018, and guess I'll go to the Steam page. I don't think it really needs.
I wonder. Justice is mine.
A stone.
So what I'm trying to do is get Malygos on the field. Let's see, Steam page for this game is so Super Slime Arena is this game. It's rated positively. It looks like you're just player versus player fighting with a lot of people. I would imagine since it's slimes, that's probably more popular in Japan than anywhere else. Yeah, there's nothing here that really interests me. $14.99 multiplayer only. Positive or not, that you're gonna have to have a pretty big player base. I cannot do anything, so it's just end my turn. All those cards and cannot really do anything at all. I'm just gonna have to hope he can't kill me in the next couple turns. Right. This is gonna burn cards.
My hand is full.
Alright. I can do this if I can stay alive. If I can stay alive. So, is there anything to do this turn?
Think.
He's got 7 damage. So we'll see if this works. If this actually works, this will probably be the first time this ever actually has worked for me, because the strategy is difficult. Right. This.
Monsters behind you.
And then preparation. And then preparation. And then trigger twice. Seriously? Ah.
Justice is mine.
Well, that killed me.
Quickly.
Well, actually, that didn't kill me. Interesting. Alright.
Astounding.
5, 10, 7. I could have done like 18 damage there. I needed it to not have summoned the dragon the first time. Yeah. Well, I don't think I can really play that. Like that's a really tough deck. The other thing we need is like 2 victories more. So let's try Warrior and see if Warrior is a little bit more realistic. Because that to play that Rogue Malygos strategy, you really have to pay perfect attention and probably be playing against people who know that that is the strategy you're playing for, or playing against people who are just complete idiots. Moving on, TechRaptor has the article, Gearbox Software teases Borderlands 3 with the Mask of Mayhem trailer. This trailer is here if you want to see it. Here's an Unreal Engine 4 tech demo from 2017. I want to look at this while we're playing, because there is something to be said, I think, about how much improvement probably needs to have been made. There's Randy Pitchford, first thing on the screen. Because of CDC, they've been showing off what improvements they're going to do in the next version of Unreal Engine. Not Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal Engine, I believe, 4.22. A lot of it has to do with ray tracing, but they are replacing their physics system with a new system called Chaos. Or as part of that Chaos system is going to replace the PhysX, PHYSX system, which is a physics system. They are completely redoing their audio engine, which is probably very good, because I've run into a lot of games where if you alt-tab out of them and then come back 24 hours later on PC, the ambient audio is just missing. You're just playing the game in silence at that point. And like Cube 2, QUBE2 in particular, like even when I loaded it back in, the audio ran into problems. So I don't think the audio engine has ever been particularly good in the Unreal. Not that any of them have been that good. So major improvements there. Improvements for 3D audio and surround sound, but just improvements in general for displaying things. At least 2 different presentations. Each of these presentations is about 20 minutes to 30 minutes long. At least 2 of them that I've seen, because I follow Unreal on YouTube, so I can see specifically their presentations. Big focus on ray tracing and talking about how points where ray tracing makes sense and points where ray tracing won't make sense. One of the things they're going to do is they were saying that as it's programmed right now, it's very processor intensive. If you have something very reflective mixed with something that's not reflective at all, so you should either in one area have everything be very reflective or nothing, and they expect to see a divide there. And that jungles with ray tracing are going to be the general description of something that's going to work very badly, whereas a outside empty area with no foliage will look pretty good, or an inside area with things that aren't bouncing rays of lights all over the place looks pretty good. And it was talking about how in the game you define certain light sources, and certain light sources might be ray traced, and then a lot of them should be what they call baked in light sources. And then they were talking about how you can make reflections look a lot better with ray tracing, but you also kind of need to limit how that works too, because that's just processor intensive. Ray tracing seems to be getting built in directly into Unity. No, not Unity, Unreal. So the question will be a question of are you going to is it going to be possible to do ray tracing with non-NVIDIA graphics cards? And I think the answer is probably yes, but at a very low performance level, in the same way that NVIDIA has already added ray tracing to to graphics cards that were not built to do ray tracing. Basically, you'll probably have a checkbox, unless it's just automated. You'll probably have a checkbox when setting up your graphics to turn on ray tracing or not. And if you don't have an RTX graphics card of some sort, I imagine the answer will be turn off ray tracing if you don't have an RTX card. I'm really more excited by the idea of them rewriting their audio engine, because audio problems, lesser recognized, but they have been issues. There's nothing particularly in the newest versions of Unreal though that will drastically change how games are made or played. It's just little improvements so that the next generation game, the next year's games, will look a little bit better than last year's games, as it almost always is the case. Let's see. Let's see. See if this works. I could do this a couple times. Can't do it a third time though. Darn it. So yeah, the Unreal Engine 4 tech demo from 2 years ago, not very visually persuasive today. It doesn't look very good. And then this trailer of the Mask Mayhem for Borderlands 3, yeah, it does certainly point to the idea that the Cult of the Vault very possibly is taken over, and it's showing off some characters that look like they may be the new bad guys. And I'm seeing a Claptrap, so we'll still have a Claptrap, and I'm seeing a Rack, and I'm seeing a bunch of other new Vault Hunters that look cool, but they're all in just white stone color, so they're not even colored in. And unless Tiny Tina is going to be aged up quite a bit more than I thought she was. I don't think I see Tiny Tina, and I see Angel, and I don't know how Angel is still alive. Just destroy this. But yeah, not a lot to really take from the Mask of Mayhem trailer. Go check it out yourself if you want to. Scooter's not there. That's not a surprise, but Scooter's sister is. The reason Scooter's not there again is because the guy who voice acted that became ill and stopped working for Gearbox. There are some other characters that certainly should have been left on the cutting room floor. I don't think I saw Mad Moxie. I don't think I saw Marcus. I don't think I saw the Professor Crazy Lady. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lose again. I don't even know what the strategy here was. Seems like it's just do a lot of damage.
Well played.
So yeah, there was a decent number of characters that have just been given a lot of coverage over the 3 Borderlands games already. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I haven't even played the pre-sequel, so I don't know if any of those characters or events matter at all. I imagine they don't. Alright, so let's go back to Rogue and see if we can maybe get a victory there. We'll just switch between these two until we can get victories. We're playing on casual. We're doing everything in our power to actually win. And it's just slow going Wednesday. TechRaptor has an article. We Happy Few gets an arcade mode in the new 1.7 update. I don't think that really was wanted. The update includes several new modes which were promised back during the game's Kickstarter days. The Welly mode has changed names but is now coming to the game. The task tasks the players with performing duties of a friendly local Bobby. In Night's Watch, you play as Constable and must keep watch on those filthy downers. So what I need Malagos in the first draw, don't I? That's like the only way you win here, is you just re-roll for Malagos. You fight wave of waves off of enemies in Night's Watch. I guess this is just probably a case of them fulfilling Kickstarter requirements so they don't get sued. And certainly it's an example of We Happy Few's developers promising modes for a game that really doesn't need nor get improved by those modes at all. Right, so we're ready to go as long as I can just only get the things that trigger death rattles, which I have one of them, but you really can't win until the 5th or 6th turn anyways. So yeah, I can do this and take that guy out, and that's fine. I still think, though, that the best way to fix We Happy Few is to remove all the survival aspects and just have a very short storyline experience. Have it so you're literally moving the character from point A to point B to trigger cutscenes and conversations, and just get out and away from anything else. We'll see. If I could get the character that I need on the field, I could play this, destroy this, get 2 of those, then play this, destroy this, get 2 more. That would be probably more than enough to deal damage for like a 1-turn kill. Yep. Alright, so can I do this turn, or if I play this right now, do I make a mistake? I think I make a mistake if I do this, because if I played this, yeah. Alright. Yeah, I think we're cool leaving everything here. We just need more cards. Because I need to be able to play this and then play 5. So I need the field cleared. I speak for the tree. Well, I'm screwed now. Right. This.
Monsters behind you.
Justice
Attack.
is mine. I don't have enough time.
The red one tastes like cherries.
4 damage. Need this to work. Come on. This deck is so bad because you have to just get rid of this 8. I would take this out and get rid of everything else because it's just too dangerous any other way. Please work with Meligos. Alright. Do we have enough magic to do this then? 13 to the face. 14 to the face. Ah, man, I did this wrong. I should have done this first and do that and in the turn. I may still be able to do this.
Where my trees at?
No, I think he's got me exactly dead to rights.
Well played.
I was closer. There was a chance there. Remember, I'm just playing it casual, so it shouldn't be matchmaking me to anything. It should just be giving me complete idiots or really smart people. But it seems like I'm just getting matched by a secret ranking system anyways. Moving on, we have an article here. Far Cry. Tech Raptor has this article. Far Cry, the immersive stealth experience that could have been. I believe this is a kind of retrospective on the original Far Cry game, so it kind of doesn't matter. I would say the screenshots I'm seeing here of the original Far Cry game doesn't make it look so terrible that I don't think I couldn't play it. Although, how long you would have to stay in this... I'd probably just want to speed run something like that if I was to guess. It's kind of a pointless article. And see, I'm seeing the beginning of the end, and we're still on the Americas account, so we very possibly here are going to be done with all the news, and I'm just going to rage quit basically for today, because we're getting no victories on anything. It's just been a bad day. We haven't had a bad day in Hearthstone for several months, which is, I guess, nice.
Justice is mine.
We have a game on Steam here called Shadowrunner. It looks like it's very reflective, sort of parkour asset flip game. It seems like you have a rear view mirror, but that's not really what this is showing you. It seems to be just showing you exactly what you're looking at in front of you. So what's the point of that? Speedrun oriented platformer. I've heard that a million times. $8.99. I'll be generous and put it on the follow list, but I've seen so many bad games in that same vein. Alright. Draw cards.
Justice is mine.
TechRaptor has this article. The Humble Hot Date Bundle will soothe your soul. We'll talk about this more. I did want to point out this is a picture from Clannad. Clannad was worldwide trending on Twitter for a brief moment there, although I didn't catch it directly. Apparently someone pretty famous, I think in Japan, was talking about how sad Clannad is as a visual novel, and people started talking about it, and they were famous enough to get it trending, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll talk about what the Hot Date Bundle includes. This will be actually an interesting bundle for me. I guess I could probably just spend $1 on it, or I could go as far as $15 and get them all. Visual novels have always been this thing where I would like to play them off screen and have a way to review them, but I really don't know how to, because a lot of them, well, the the lewd visual novels are the problem. So I guess if I get those cheap on a Humble Bundle purchase, then I don't have to worry about actually ever playing them or anything like that. Or if I do play them, I can play them in my own time. Man, it's gonna be a frustrating later tonight. It's gonna be frustrating because I'm gonna have to do all this Hearthstone stuff that's not happening. And then I'm also gonna be frustrated because I have to do a bunch of scheduling on YouTube, and that sucks too. Oh man. If this YouTube job paid anything, I would hire a secretary or an editor. Like, part of the job of my video editor would be you're in charge of scheduling things. Just schedule that stuff for me. Get that stuff going. I'd probably give them a very generic assistant title and just expect them to do tons of work. And then the big question is, why would somebody be working for me when they could just make their own YouTube channel and be probably as successful, if not more? I often do wonder about my YouTube channel, is that I wonder if there's a certain point where, if after you've gone a certain number of years, where they go, yeah, you're never going to be popular. We're not going to suggest your videos anymore. We gave you 6 months to be a breakout hit, and of course you couldn't do it. So now you're just at the bottom of the recommendation feed. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article. Devolver Digital's Observation is now an Epic Store exclusive. This guy's kicking my butt. Fine, take that, and then that, and then that, and while we're at it, how about that? While you're at it. So TechRaptor has this article. Devolver Digital's Observation is now an Epic Store exclusive, not to be confused with Observer. Let's see. Announced during yesterday's State of Play as a PS4 game, No Code's Observation will only ship on one additional platform at launch. On PC, you'll need to buy it from the Epic Store. So yeah, another Epic Store exclusive. And yeah, that sucks, but I mean, what can I say? I should have attacked a couple times. I'm not playing right at all. If I could have played this and played that on that, that would have done something, I'm sure. Let's see. Gamatsu has this article. Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot launches July 26. Become the best hacker in town. Apparently, Wolfenstein Cyber Pilot will launch for the PSVR and PC. This must be some kind of VR game. I've not heard anything about this. Man, yeah, and we're so screwed. I am so screwed today. I can't get these victories. I can do some Druid class cards, which I probably will just have to play some Druid class card games and leave this for Wednesday and just bang my head against this. Let's just get off the Americas account. Maybe we'll get luckier on the European account. Maybe that'll happen. Because I'm seeing the end of the road as far as news. This is not going to be another 40 minutes of gameplay because of the news. It's going to be another hour and 40 minutes of gameplay because of daily quests. And I just am going to seriously have a mental breakdown here in a second for as terrible as this is all going. Alright. This hunter class cards and even cards. Let's do a tavern brawl, create a deck, hunter, and then I'm just gonna type in even. I don't even think that's how this works. I think you have to type in IS:EVEN. Alright, we'll do this the basic way then. 0 is even, right? And 2 is even. So take all of those, and then 4. I guess 4 is even. Then 6 would be even. Okay. And then we'll just do the rest of this way. But I don't even think you can play the cards that would make this make sense. Yeah, I don't think there's a real reason to do it this way at all. Let's 4 more cards. There you go. So that's kind of just a stupidly built even cards deck with a decent amount of hunter things. We'll just bang our head against this and see if we can maybe get a quick victory. I don't care if they disconnect or what. I'll just be done with it at that point.
Let the hunt begin.
And if I do get that victory and we haven't played enough Hunter decks, we'll just play Hunter on ranked because that's a smart move. So this game, Wolfenstein Copilot or Cyberpilot, seems like it's a VR game and you're inside a giant mech. I don't know why you would do this other than it probably was just a VR experiment by Bethesda Softworks in VR, and then they probably just put the Wolfenstein skin on it, and that probably made a lot of sense when you were actually, when this was in development. This is $19.99. I think it deserves to be on the follow list. Like, it's an actual game in VR, which those are always a little rare. So yeah, I'll put it on the follow list. I bet it's not that good. The Wolfenstein series is weird. Frankly, the reboot series is very weird because it's basically successful. The reboot was successful, and then the side sequel of the Old Blood really wasn't as successful, and then the actual continuation of Wolfenstein, the New Colossus, was sort of successful but not as successful. I think it's just a little too niche. I think also the Wolfenstein series is going in a direction that's somewhat accurate to the original game, or at least Wolfenstein 3D, but it is also going in kind of a weird direction. The weirdest part, I think, is that Wolfenstein New Blood is getting rid of the main character completely in favor of the daughters, and even the reboot series kind of was as much focusing on his BJ Blazkowicz, yeah, that's his name, BJ Blazkowicz's love interest more than it was focusing on BJ Blazkowicz. As a character, he's not getting a lot of characterization. And there's a lot more to that story about how SJWs didn't like the New Blood, the New Colossus, because it didn't say F Nazis enough, even though it's a game where you're literally killing Nazis, actual Nazis, throughout it. That I think they fell into complaints of that, and that's why you have a game that was BJ Blazkowicz, which, like, his name is a reference to blowjobs. So I mean, it's always had like dirty, naughty, raunchy humor, much like the Mortal Kombat series, and it seems like they might be going in the wrong direction because they're not embracing what made those games interesting and fun in the first place, and just becoming super PC police by replacing BJ with the two daughters, and now it's just going to be a raw feminist game. Maybe, like, that's kind of what it feels like it might be. Which, I mean, that's a wild swing for the Wolfenstein series. And frankly, the Wolfenstein series has always been a simple enough series. It just needs to be the either up-to-date or new groundbreaking first-person kind of dungeon crawler first-person shooter game. That's kind of all it has to do. So in the reboot, they introduced the concept of stealth into the game that really wasn't as much an issue in previous games, and they introduced some magical abilities in the shield, and I think the magical ability storyline, ancient alien technology, basically threw the story in a weird direction also, but it's not that out of order either, because previous Wolfenstein games did have weird occult magic and machines and stuff, so like almost anything is acceptable in a Wolfenstein game. Just needs to be good, and arguably maybe the games aren't quite as good as they should be. That all being said, I've played the first game. I'm more than willing to play all the other games in the series and see how it happens. At least at this point. Next we have a game on Steam. I think we talked about this last stream and it came up again. Tree Simulator 2020 for 59 cents. Total garbage, low effort game. I may have actually not gone through some of the games, so we may run into a lot of duplicates here. If that's the case, we may be a lot closer to the end than I think. Next we have a game on Steam called Scuus, S-C-U-O-S. Puzzle game where you need to reproduce the pattern on the board of another. Well, that's idiotically easy. Like, that's idiotically easy. The only twist here is this yellow line. It might change it slightly. Well, this is 74 cents with a discount. If you want a stupid, ugly looking one-screen Unity puzzle game, I guess it's there. How many puzzles does it even say? It doesn't even give you a number, so I don't know how many you'd really run into, and 12 achievements. Yeah, that is just way too dumbed down of an idea. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. Sci-fi noir adventure Whispers of a Machine roars to life April 17th. This is kind of a hype article, but frankly at this point, hype articles are what I need. I'll watch this trailer and see what this is about. Sci-fi Nordic noir is what it's labeled as. I think you're probably going too far to have Nordic mysticism, which is what I assume this is going to be, and sci-fi in your game. That being said, that was exactly what Two Human did then, and I like that game quite a bit. Unfortunately, it's now illegal to sell, so like they never really did anything with it. And they really couldn't do anything with it. Let's see. Whisper of a Machine will be available for Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android on April 7th. The trailer really didn't show me anything. Let's see. It seems like it's probably half puzzle, half adventure game. So it might be sort of like a point and click adventure game. The trailer really didn't give me anything as far as details. And the fact that I haven't heard anything about it, and it seems like it's gonna come out pretty soon, probably means it's not that big of a game either. For those people who could not wait for Metro Exodus and bought it on the Epic storefront, Metro Exodus is getting a new Game Plus mode in the Ranger update. So I guess that's fine. I can't inherently begrudge a game for supporting their game, even if their publishing company did put them on a exclusivity deal with the Epic Store. I still want games to be good, so a year later when they're on Steam, they'll be good. The opposite of this article could have read, Metro Exodus getting no more updates or patches due to low sales, because it's a Steam, a Epic Store exclusive. That's a way worse story to have to read, and that's not a real story. So good for that, I suppose. Let's see. Gematsu has an article here. Ninja action platformer Cyber Shadow has been announced for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Published by Yacht Club Games, developed by Mechanical Head Studios. I think I've heard of Mechanical Head Studios. This is a interesting looking thumbnail. I bet it's just an 8-bit game, so I'm gonna watch the trailer and see what this looks like. It is. It's a NES looking platforming game. Like, doesn't look terrible or anything, but it's not anything super surprising. Release date is yet to be announced. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. $14.99 is how much it's going to cost. TechRaptor has an article. Funcom and Rock Paper Games reveal a cosmic horror Moons of Madness. Cosmic horror game called Moons of Madness. Let's see. Funcom published Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, which I had forgotten had already come out. Conan Exiles, which didn't do anything, and Secret Worlds Legends, which really didn't do anything. So I wouldn't expect Moons of Madness to get much publishing assistance either. That being said, all those games really suffer, I think, more from being bad games than having bad publishing. It's really hard to make the determination, while I watch this trailer, that it is the publisher's fault. Very rarely do you run into a scenario where people don't know a game exists. It's much more about the fact that it's just not well received. Moons of Madness looks like a 3D kind of adventure game, first person, where you're on the moon in a settlement and doing specific tasks, and also potentially, I assume, going crazy and seeing hallucinations or something. Yeah, the craziness is now kicked into the trailer. I figured that was coming. Alright. Moons of Madness looks a lot like Prey Moon Crash. I guess inherently with Prey coming out, and it looks like there's tentacle monsters and old god type creatures, like Cthulhu stuff in this. Yeah, with System Shock being in development and Prey being somewhat successful, I wouldn't be surprised if that inspired a couple more clones or similar games. TechRaptor has an article. Apple announces the Apple Arcade, a subscription service launching in the fall of 2019. We had already talked about this, but I don't think I knew that it was a subscription service. Many of the games in it will be exclusive to Apple Arcade, but none of the games that I really saw looked that interesting. You're really not even competing in the same, like, in the same field. Because cell phone games are really no competition to big AAA games for consoles and PC. TechRaptor has an article, all the announcements from id at Xbox, or ID at Xbox, Game Pass 3/27/26. So let's see what's here. Outer Worlds from Mobius and Annapurna was shown off. There was a montage of gameplay that included a game called Void Bastards, which is a stylish roguelike, a first-person dungeon crawler RPG called Operincia: The Stolen Sun, a nonsensical goat and cart game called Supermarket Shriek, Sweary's photographing animals in the Lake District simulator The Good Life, and finally the game about outdrinking the devil in hell, After Party. Okay. Then there was an in-depth look at After Party, and then Blazing Chrome on a run and gun shooter. Yeah, so not a lot announced. So I wonder if the ID at Xbox was going to be particularly bigger if there happened to have been something more announced at the Sony State of Play. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft just said, well, the Sony State of Play didn't really have anything too big to announce, so let's just let's hold back some stuff for E3. Yeah, and maybe the Sony State of Play really thought it was going to outshine by going first this Microsoft id Xbox. Although, frankly, Sony's State of Play, since I think they're not going to have an E3 presentation, really has to outshine all of E3. There's also, I could just be blinded to some reality here, and it also could just be, this is the beginning of examples of they're just going to all have their own little Nintendo Directs, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, and at some point I think either PC Gamer or Valve themselves are going to have their own Directs to talk about games. So yeah, I would not be surprised if nobody committed to going to E3 next year at all, and then about 6 months before E3 next year, they just all one by one announce actually no, we're not going to have a booth at E3, or we'll have a booth but we're not going to pay for the presentation space. Alright, what's more do we want to do?
Going to die.
So yeah, this ID at Xbox Game Pass was 13 minutes long. I just kind of streamed through it, and it was just two people I don't recognize announcing a bunch of games I don't recognize, and nothing to really get hyped about. Gamasutra has an article. Intel and Spirit AI are working on machine learning powered voice chat moderation. So, maybe eventually the voice chat will get muted, or you'll get banned from games for what you say because it thinks you said something bad and you didn't say something bad. That'll just be a whole new wave. This is really a pointless thing. This is that Rainbow Six Siege, all players and all video games are toxic. I don't usually recommend other YouTubers' videos, but there's a video that I saw on YouTube called The Myth of the Toxic Gamer, and it ran a real comparison between how video games journalists, who are mostly SJWs, have been calling video game players toxic, whereas comparing that to like soccer fans who, like, soccer riots have happened, people have been killed. I think he was talking about a story where a person was literally beheaded at a soccer game, and his head was put on a spike, and still nobody is calling soccer fans all toxic, when arguably there is a decent number of people who are soccer fans are toxic, and really just breaking it down to people is people are people, and people will get aggressive. But this story, as it connects to that, so go check out the video, The Myth of the Toxic Video Game Players, or Toxic Players, because it really is just a myth. It's just a false narrative, a false problem, and trying to moderate what people are saying to other people is a stupid idea. Have a report button. If somebody is saying something inappropriate to you, you should be able to mute them, you should be able to report them, have a human listen to it. If they get reported a lot, and maybe then you mute the person. But proactively trying to censor speech of people having speech amongst groups that does not in any way involve your company, just because they're on your video game platform, is ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous. A waste of money, a waste of energy, just so pro censorship for no good reason. But yeah, I don't want to get into too much of a rant about that. So, here is that game I was talking about earlier on TechRaptor, Wolfenstein Youngblood, set to launch July 26th. And here you have the two daughters of BJ Blazkowicz and his female interest, who I don't even remember her name. I think it was Anna or something. And you can see they have the ancient alien technologies as that they're using as a shield, which I did not like the way that looked particularly. So yeah. So Jess and Soph are BJ and Anya's daughters, and they're all grown up. It also puts them in 1980s Paris of this alternate timeline, which, like, they had already done a time jump forward in this rebooted series, so it's kind of weird that they're doing another time jump forward. There is danger here, certainly, for a lot of rants coming from me and other people if Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out and it is highly positively reviewed by the mainstream video game journalists, and then is severely critically reviewed by actual people who pay for games or actual video game players. I'm not saying that will be the case. For all I know, Youngblood might be as good as any of the other games, which they've been pretty good, not great. And it'll be fine. We'll just have to wait and see. But drama incoming, certainly. Drama that I don't think you needed to really do. I think you could easily have the series follow BJ Blazkowicz in the same way that the Mario series has always followed Mario, and every other game series has almost always followed the main protagonist throughout decades and decades of games. Zelda, while the Zelda character is a different character each time, and Link character is a different character every time, so those change, so that would be an outlier. And arguably some of the Donkey Kong characters have changed who they are. But yeah, most games, just think if it was the opposite. Imagine if after this Tomb Raider trilogy they decided Lara Croft is going to have twin boys, or 2 boys, and they're going to set Lara Croft 10 to 15 years in the future, or 18 years in the future, and the next Tomb Raider game has you playing as twin boys. Would that feel like a Tomb Raider game? No. Would people complain about that because you have a powerful woman character who has been known for many, many years, replaced by 2 male characters? Yeah. So when you flip it around, it's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Speaking of not a good idea, today, playing Hearthstone today was not a good idea. Was that all one game, too? Have I been playing the same freaking Tavern Brawl for an hour? Possibly. Wow. Let's get rid of the. Let's finish the rest of this news and move on. Gamasutra has a blog, a design examination on Resident Evil 2 Remastered. So it's just like an opinion blog about what is so great about Resident Evil 2. So it's kind of nice to see people still happy with Resident Evil 2, because that certainly doesn't happen as much as you would think. The Epic Game Store has the Walking Dead collection, so this, I believe, would be the first bundle on the Epic Store. And I'm not sure you can even buy them all at once, as I'm looking here. Like, it looks to me, while there's a page showing you each game, there's no button without, maybe if you sign in or use the launcher, you can buy them all at once. I theoretically owned the Walking Dead collection, but don't have all the Walking Dead games, because the final seasons being an Epic Store exclusive. Although I guess I kind of I lucked out on the Walking Dead, because I've only played the last season like a year or 2 after it came out, so there's enough time to wait and see it move over from being exclusive to come back to Steam. I assume it will. I assume they all will. All the Epic Store exclusives. Well. Battlecry. 2 damage. Add a couple elementals to your hand. Gematsu has an article. Ubisoft's E3 2019 press conference is set for June 10th. So, I guess we have to get through April, and E3 is in June. And we're just starting on April, so it's about 30 days. 33 days. E3 runs from June 11th to the 13th. Alright. So yeah, it feels like E3 was just 6 months ago, but actually it was well, 11 months ago. Let's see, poisonous. We'll do that. Let's see, next we have a game on Steam called Blood Trail, which looks like a dark screenshot syndrome horror game. It's in VR. Looks like you're running around just shooting people and making them bloody. The 3D models on the people looks terrible. It's early access, requires VR, and it wants $24.99 with no discount. This is a game that's easy enough to never play. Turn. Gamer Sutra has the same article. Observation will be an Epic Games Store exclusive. The Steam page has been pulled. So this is also either the second, third instance of games previously having a Steam page and then pulling it. At a certain point, I think Steam has a right to get pissed off about that, and maybe they will start punishing people who do this, or very possibly they will start charging a lot to have a Steam page. I mean, but it would have to be quite a lot. It would have to be well over $10,000 to have a Steam page, so that you're so pot committed to it that you wouldn't pull your game from the Steam storefront. The only other thing I imagine you could do is you could have people sue them for fraud, and you could Valve does at this point, I think, have a argument of tortious interference against Epic, because they're literally paying Epic is literally paying people to not do business with them, and I don't think that's legal, depending on about how you go about it. It's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous legal legal path. TechRaptor has the same article. EA lays off 350 employees in publishing, marketing, and other areas. We don't need to go over that. This story is a little interesting. Gamer Sutra has an article. Judgment, known as Judge Eyes in Japanese, has sold through 97% of its stock following the controversy where the voice actor was tested positive for cocaine use. Let's see, 97% of its stock since it halted sales of the game, and worldwide inventory is almost gone as well, which potentially makes this one of the most expensive games in the future, depending. This might be one of those rare games that's worth $300 or $400 each in a couple decades. So if you bought Judgment, you might want to just keep it mint in box. Let's see. The actor apparently admitted to illegal drug use. I had not heard that part. I'm not sure if that's really true either. So right now, Sega of Japan is still just halting sales of Judge Eyes. They really haven't done anything else to. I imagine in the background, in secret, they're working towards removing the main actor and replacing him, but they're not really saying. So yeah, the last 3% of Judgment. Particularly the Japanese Judge Eyes version would probably be the really, really rare, expensive one. I need to play 3 more even cards and some more cards. Next we have a game on Steam called Willowbrook Post, story-based job management game. Any job simulation game is not very good. This looks like a Roblox clone, and it's already at mixed reviews. Early access for $6.99. So yeah, I'm not gonna put that on the fall list. TechRaptor has an article, We the Revolution Review, Law and Disorder. We saw a hype article from TechRaptor about this, and now we get the full review. This is a French Revolution simulator game. Let's see what they gave it. They gave it a 6.0 good. That's not particularly that good. The summary, We the Revolution looks great and the courtroom gameplay is interesting and kept me coming back, but if you're looking for a fleshed out or comprehensive real-time strategy experience, you'll be sorely disappointed. The pros are courtroom gameplay is fun, compelling story, fantastic visual and musics. The cons are a false sense of choice, a lack of clarity in directions, boring, bare-bones real-time strategy gameplay, no French accents, and mediocre voice acting, and it overstays its welcome. So, yeah. I would maybe play this game if it's real cheap, but no major hype on that. Even though a French Revolution-based game is something quite unique. Like, you don't see too many of those come out in a year. GameIndustry.biz has the same article. Electronic Arts closes Japan office as part of the mass layoffs. Update. The Russian division also appears to be shuttered, with operations moving to larger regional offices. TechRaptor has an article here. Divinity Fallen Heroes is the next game from Larian Studios. Looks interesting. Divinity series is one of those series I have yet to really figure out whether I want to play it or not. There's a trailer here. I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about it, other than, yeah, personally I need to figure out whether I want to, whether I'm interested in the Divinity series or not. There's about 3 or 4 fantasy-based games out there, and I get them all confused. Divinity's animations seem a little bit less polished than I would have expected, but they don't look. They look more like a cell phone game, frankly, than a AAA looking game. Let's see, spell damage. Can I do that? Do that first.
Job's done.
Yeah. It seems like the 3D animations are secondary to just a top-down strategy gameplay of some sort. I don't know if it's turn-based or real-time strategy. And because of that, the 3D animations don't seem like they are really the main focus. And it's a tactical RPG is what they're saying it is, according to the article. TechRaptor had an article. It's kind of pointless now. The Morrowind was free this weekend as part of the Elder Scrolls 25th anniversary celebration. But that would have been through the Bethesda launcher, so you could have gotten it, sure, but not on a launcher you really want to use. And you probably couldn't have gotten it anyways because it was such a bad.
What does the future hold?
Oh man. So the rest of these are all games that I left on Monday. So these aren't even games that we need to talk about again. So before I look at the Humble Bundle, I'm going to look at my Twitter feed and see if there's anything more to do here. Let's see. If I could do this and this, that'd probably be nice. And see, I can just poison that. Get rid of that. So yeah, I'm coming back to my Twitter feed, seeing if there's any new tweets, seeing if there's anything. YouTube creators 4 minutes ago welcoming back somebody who hasn't posted in over a year, and she's like a music video maker. So yeah, YouTube's still crazy stupid about how they pander to people they shouldn't be pandering to. Let's see.
Spider senses tingling.
Let's see. What else? What else? Is there anything else new? We have a game called Shop Manager Video Game Tycoon on Steam. That's garbage. We have a game called The Color of Roses. That's probably garbage. I'm just gonna have to kind of silently sort through all of this. Deal 2 damage and 1 to the adjacent ones. Victory! Oh my goodness. That is, I believe, the first victory in 3 hours. I do believe that is the first victory in 3 hours. And yeah, I don't have any new tweets either. So, yeah, nothing is happening in the news that's that big of a deal. 2060 pack earned. 10 gold. Let's open this hard-earned pack. Oh man, what a terrible day. And we're on the European account, so I think we're just gonna switch over to the Asian account and show it off. Show off what the daily quests are. We have daily quests also on the Americas account that need to be done, including the Tavern Brawl. And it's kind of weird because I even played on my secondary account just because I was bored one night, and that amount of gameplay I'm now regretting because of just how much I'm spending here. So while that's happening, we have this game on Steam, Shop Manager Video Game Tycoon. It looks like a very low effort game, and I still stick by my opinion that games where you're doing a job are not fun games. They want $6.79 discounted for this. Yeah, right? Oops. So, re-roll this, and so I'd have to play Druid on this Tavern Brawl and get that victory. I only need to get 2 of these done, so I really don't need to do the Pirates one. Next we have a game on Steam here called The Color of Roses, which is just a RPG Maker game. At least it's widescreen, but that's about all I can say that's nice about it. $6.79 discounted. That's way too expensive. And alright, well then that just puts me on the Humble Bundle store. Like, I'm not going to get into a game here. So let's see where we are. The Hot Date Bundle is going on. So if you pay $1, you will get a Steam key for Creature Romance, Kono Kokoro, which was rated very positively. I haven't heard of it. Highway Blossoms. So these are probably all going to be adult-oriented romance visual novels. And Just Desserts, which again has a Steam key. You have to, it fades into the background. If you pay more than the average of $9.56, you'll get Lady Killer in a Bind, which I don't believe I owned, and Perfect Date, which I think means you'd be dating cats. If this had the Dream Daddy Dad Simulator game, that was on sale earlier, just a few days ago, so that would be a bad bundling. And you'll get Digital Devolver's Genital Jousting, which is not a visual novel game, but it does have genitals jousting each other, so it's in the same general idea. If you pay $10 or more, you get Ji Senjo no Masu Ma'ao, The Devil on G-String Voiced Edition, and you get the Sunrider collection. This one doesn't say it's rated. I've never heard of these two, so you're kind of going high at that point to pay $10, but since the average is already $9.56, why not jump a little bit higher? And if you pay $15 more dollars, you get Clannad. Clannad being probably the best visual novel ever. This is probably your best bet, frankly. Get this for basically the same price you'd pay anyways, because it's never going to really go on sale, and then get the other games just for free. Let's see. And then there's some discounts you would also get. And then you can pick whatever charity you want. Let's see, what was the other bundle? There's a Coder's Bookshelf bundle, the Humble Monthly bundle, and the Curve bundle we've already talked about. Let's look at the Humble Monthly bundle. Let's see. That one you have to subscribe for $12 a month. And some of these games I think I already own. It would be really nice if somebody would gift me the codes through Twitter direct message for the Hot Date bundle at the $15 level. That would be a great way to support me, and while also supporting a charity. that would be really nice. It's also a great way, I would say, for people to support the creation of adult video games for adults, while not particularly being interested in visual novels yourself. Why not buy it and donate to a charity and just think of it as, oh, I'm donating to a charity, and while I'm at it, I'm giving away the code to a YouTuber that entertains me, hopefully. The Curvy bundle, I think this one, yeah, I think I might need to do some research and buy this bundle too. I'm not sure if I need to go above the $1 mark, but if I went up to the $15 mark, I'd get Bomber Crew. And that's usually how these bundles work, is that there's at least one game that maybe is worth it at $15, although I'd say Clannad is much more worth it at $15 than Bomber Crew is. But you're also getting For the King. Depends on whether you really want those games or not. Meanwhile, on Hearthstone, I am just in this horrible position. Like, I've got to get a Tavern Brawl on the Asian account successfully. I have to win on that. I have to win on the Americas account. I also have like 2 victories with a rogue or warrior on the Americas account I need to get, and I have theoretically either 6 pirates or 3 victories with a druid or a hunter that I need to play tune. So I'm looking at probably at least 5, if not 6 victories that I'm gonna have to find, and I'm just gonna do it all off screen because this has been way too long. We've gone through all the news, and I'm going to start screaming out loud in a minute. I'm just joking about that, of course. But yeah, I'm not going to have anything positive or upbeat to say if I keep banging my head against Hearthstone. It's been a long time since we've had a really bad day on Hearthstone, but when they come, they hit hard. That's it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.